Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about investing and the digital asset space. And let's get right into it today. One take and uncut. This will be a long one. Be sure to stay tuned. And again, if you have not seen the previous video I uploaded yesterday, please pause this video and go check that out first, because that is going to kind of be a preface or a prerequisite to this one. So to kick things off, there is literally zero doubt, 100% fact here that Bank of America is a RippleNet customer. We've shown tons of documentation. We've heard Bank of America transcripts. You know it, but again, people just like to argue it because they have not made some giant campaign. Just to show you here, Leonidas, creator of XRParcade.com, is shown again. Emi Yoshikawa of Ripple confirming once again that Bank of America is a Ripple customer. I mean, this dates back, guys. We have things, maybe 2016, 2017. We have all the global banks at least doing proof of concepts. This should be no surprise. Now, are they using XRP today? No, but we understand the steps that they are going through. And obviously, as XRP is being created to be one of the biggest and most liquid assets in the world, to be the true intermediary, to be that invisible protocol, that underlying bridge asset to transfer all value. Simply a matter of time. So listen to this quick clip. I'll only play about 20 seconds. As we can see, the legacy payments today, limited reach, multiple 2 to 6 days to settle, high failure rates, anywhere on average about 6% of money just fails to get to its destination. And I'm talking about throughout the correspondent banking network, trillions of dollars in costs, and this is including the $2 to $27 trillion that sit idle in these pre-funded accounts is just in case money, because the system is so inefficient already, and we don't have that liquidity, that financial grease to grease the wheel, so to speak. And obviously XRP, this true on-demand liquidity, is going to be the grease for the financial system. So RippleNet, global reach, seconds to settle, near zero failure rates. Now, what they say, you can't really say zero failure rates, but it's all or nothing. So it either goes through 100% and works perfectly, or the payment actually doesn't go through. So it's a perfect way to mitigate risk. And then again, 50% plus reduction in costs, current, 30-40% savings. With XRP, you can get as high as 70% of savings. So obviously, the next step after messaging is improving settlement.
Standardized access and provides quick settlement and near zero failure rates, and also a substantial reduction in costs. Today, we have over 300 customers across 40 markets, and ranging from large global banks like Santander and Bank of America.
Boom, Bank of America.
To traditional money transfer business like MoneyGram, and also more newer fintech type companies like Neom.
Okay, and then Yum as well. NIUM, I believe, and we've talked about them extensively. Okay, and then again, here's the presentation at Crypto Asia Summit, May 18th. Bank of America is a RippleNet customer, confirmed for the 100th time. And this is for everybody that continues to kind of deny the facts. All right, next, Arturo Portilla. This is great. The Interledger Foundation is looking to hire an executive director who will be in charge of the strategic and operational responsibility to catalyze the growth of the Interledger protocol system, including the management of the relevant IP in the promotion of the brand. So again, we can see if you want to see for yourselves here, right on LinkedIn, kind of go through, and feel free to pause the screen. I'm just going to keep moving through this video. All right. Cool. And again, we have Adrienne Hope Bailey. We've talked about this person numerous times. Again, for those of you that do not know, this is head of Interledger at Coil, and also co-chair at the W3C, the Worldwide Web Consortium, basically the group that, kind of governs the internet itself, okay? So guidelines, software, tools, etc. Building the internet of value. All comments are his own. Awesome. All right, next up, right here, Matthew Liny. So Conflux Network delivers with FlickPay, RippleNet to ease remittance and drive decentralized finance in Africa and beyond. Again, another RippleNet partner, another partnership with remittance. We can see that the infrastructure and pipes are being constantly built, okay? And then let me see where I'm at next. So then, all right here, Bank of Korea recently released a report detailing the progress of central bank digital currency projects worldwide. Again, pay attention to Korea. We will talk about them in the future. We've also had speculation with them included in the, BRICS nations. Is kind of a joke just to fit the acronym, but I wanted to add that. Now, as we can see here, Governor of the Bank of France. Now this clip, as we can see, and this is recent 2020, said we will have a public call for projects which is open to all blockchain technologies, private or public. Now we know they're working with a bunch of public groups, but the private, fintech firms are the very true tech-savvy groups that actually drive this innovation. Now you understand that kind of old adage, that quote, governments do not innovate, they adopt. So when there's a successful technology, they merely adopt it and take over to some degree. Right now, the governor of the Bank of France has exclusively said, we've shown this in recent videos, probably last month, give or take, saying that Ethereum and the XRP ledger, both blockchain or, DLT networks, I should say, because obviously, the XRP ledger is a ledger, a consensus-based ledger, and it's not necessarily a blockchain. He said that both could be used to build central bank digital currencies on top of things that make you go, Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm showing you that the technology is open source, creating that level playing field, and is so superior that the likelihood, or at least them exploring that possibility, is very true. Regardless, whatever happens when these groups are creating all of their central bank digital currencies, the likelihood and the need of them still needing to interoperate, running smart contracts, things of that nature, with a finite supply on an open sourced blockchain, at least to one degree, at least communicating with a permissionless blockchain, it's going to happen, right? I should say these networks. All right, now take a look at this GIF. This is really cool, again, by Johnny Lawrence. So this is kind of just showing the corridors expanding, the liquidity growing. I love these little, GIFs, infographics, and just kind of showing that the networks can continuously bridge after liquidity fills in various corridors, or I should say kind of currency pairs. So again, this is Johnny Lawrence, and you can follow him at, let's let it pop up over here, right, at _ Johnny Lawrence, okay? All right, next up. So right here, high technological to sharing this, Ripple's partner MoneyGram, again, so again, direct and indirect partners, joins forces with one of the largest payment companies in South Korea. So this group, I guess this remittance firm is E9Pay. I personally do not know too much about them, but they just came out recently. So did want to share that again. So constant expansion, sending funds to more than 200 countries, supported by MoneyGram. Okay? $13 billion market, Ripple's expansion into South Korea. We get it. And we understand that MoneyGram, obviously, with the strategic acquisition partnership with Ripple, they are doing this for remittance and cross-border payments specifically. So they are utilizing Ripple's settlement technology. This is not MoneyGram doing their own initiative. Alex Holmes, the CEO of MoneyGram, talks how much he loves Ripple tech on a daily basis. Okay? All right, now I want to talk a little bit about ACI because this is extremely, extremely bullish. So right here, Matthew, Liny, RippleNet partner, or Ripple partner, ACI Worldwide, plus Wonder for cross-border payments. Now pay attention for ACI Worldwide, just to go as a brief overview, we can kind of just go through them. We've gone through them, hundreds of times in this channel. And then UP, Universal Payments, they're a massive behemoth. We see $14 trillion in payments and securities, in terms of transactions on a daily basis. Okay, largest financial institutions in intermediary, greater than 1,000, and also greater than 6,000 organizations around the world. We can kind of look at the solutions, top 25 bank, just massive. Okay, so no question there. Now, as we keep going, I want to show you here. And again, Ripple, of course, is already a known RippleNet partner, and they do show DLT and, for example, one of their partners and payment schemes they can interoperate with. For example, e.g. Ripple, okay? And along with, GPI, etc. But notice that really DLT, distributed ledger tech, the only open-sourced, well-known technology is the XRP ledger. Now, permission basis, we have Corda of R3. We have, RippleNet in the Ripple network. We have various groups, okay? HyperLedger, working with interledger protocol, things of that nature. But you have to pay attention to the giants in this industry, okay? And then notice, quickly connecting to any real-time payment schemes. Now with the real-time payment schemes for ACI right on their website, look at this. The Clearinghouse, Faster Payments, EBA Clearing, European Central Bank, and Zelle. I know many people, I Am Legion, Digital Asset Investor, all these people have tied together the connections, not only the ECB, the Clearinghouse, of course, and RTP, we've gone over that. We talked about Zelle, JP Morgan, Chase, all of that. It's all right in front of you guys. So just remember that and continuously do your own research and question this, because to me, keep prices as low as possible, as long as possible, and trend sideways until they are ready to go. And it could be an all-in-one, fell swoop. And again, that's just my opinion, not financial advice. My mindset is kind of, entertaining all ideas and just knowing, where this is going. Multi-bank, multi-currency, 24/7 payment processing, seamless integration, okay? It's all software-based, including real-time gross settlement, clearing, and settlement mechanisms. ACH, SEPA, it just never stops, okay? All right, let's keep going here. So again, in terms of Wonder, we can see foundational platform upon which it can build new products, including instant settlements. All right, and then I believe, sorry if I'm all over the place right now. Yep, and then even Wrath of Kahneman, so ACI's UP, again, their universal payments, which among other rails is Ripple enabled, will now be used by cross-border's online market Wonder, who accepts almost every payment method. Wonder claims instant payments in 35 currencies, 180 total, with built-in foreign exchange and PayTrack technology. Remember, RippleNet is not just XRP. XRP is their top-tier product that offers the most savings for settlement. Okay, and it becomes more valuable in due time thanks to the liquidity, and it can increase the savings based off high liquidity, tighter spreads. We get it, and kind of create this fully functional, marketplace where you can source on-demand liquidity. But the benefits that even Swift GPI and all these other companies are utilizing, and even trying to copy and create their own or white label it, is the great messaging capabilities and getting these rates actually, vetted and showing you it's very transparent, it's bi-directional messaging, and you can decide what medium is best for you. It's simply the future. All right. Already shown this. All right. And now right here, XRP Crypto Wolf, Austria's major bank. Now, I believe this is, you pronounce it in kind of a German pronunciation. I'm just going to say it's like Haifisun. I know it has an R, is piloting a national digital currency tokenization platform using blockchain. So surprise, surprise, we know that 63% banks, probably way higher than that, are already using and utilizing DLT, or experimenting and utilizing. This pilot will be conducted, or will not be conducted, or will be conducted until 2020, and is designed to speed up cross-border interbank transactions and improve liquidity management. There's going to be many groups utilizing their own permission systems, but at the end of the day, they still need a protocol, a digital asset, and a ledger for all of them for interoperability and an open landscape. And we'll get more into that as well. All right. Right here, Mickey B. Fresh, guys, XRP community should be paying attention to this project. More details to be released soon. So if you're tech savvy, pay attention to this. Building data analytics of the XRP ledger is a key component of market maturity and deeper insight into the XRP ledger transparency. Data infrastructure products like this opens up the XRP ledger to new value metrics. Now, XRP is the native digital asset on the ledger itself. Of course, it's here to stay. It's always going to be valuable, but this is truly what sets XRP apart. We know XRP, is scalable, it's fast, finite supply. We understand the benefits of it, but the XRP ledger is truly where it's at, and it is basically the home of XRP. As we can see, DevNo Productions, guys, working quick little gift to show, just so you guys want to check them out. Engineering solutions for the digital age. DevNo Productions. So check them out. All right, next up, shared by Mickey B. Fresh again. Guys, this is a clip you may have seen, so feel free to fast forward a minute, but I thought this was relevant enough to show you how secure and how advanced the XRP ledger is. So again, Matty Greenspan, Bitcoin maximalist, and guys, I do like Bitcoin, believe it or not, and I do own some. Sometimes I do trade a bulk of it for XRP and kind of swing trade between other assets, but again, that's personal. Don't worry about it. So David Schwartz crushing Matty Greenspan's misinformation about XRP. I don't know if this was directly to Matty Greenspan. I know Working Money Channel did a great video the other day recently, and he just shared all this as well. But I just wanted to reshare it because it is definitely a gem, and I appreciate David's insight into this matter. So just listen to this quick clip about the XRP ledger itself and how secure and what kind of precautionary measures exist.
What happens in the XRP ledger is when a transaction finishes executing, it makes sort of a recipe of the changes that it's going to make. And those changes can be checked to see whether they comply with system rules. So for example, if you tell me, well, I don't want people to be able to create XRP, it would be an awful answer if I said, well, look at the code of the XRP ledger, all 80,000 lines of code, and you'll see there's no way to create XRP, unless there's a bug, in which case, we'll fix it, but we hope there's no bug. Check the 80,000 lines of code, and you'll eventually be able to convince yourself there's no way to create XRP, unless you find a bug. Like, that's terrible. You can see how awful that answer is. So instead, there's a line of code that literally says, you can't create XRP. A view that creates XRP cannot be applied to the ledger. The view is literally thrown out. And it's replaced with a big flashing, this transaction would have created XRP if we executed it. Someone find and fix the bug. And then you can find and fix the bug because you can rewind the system to the state it was in when it tried to execute that transaction and figure out how it failed without corrupting the public ledger. I think that's one of our most important innovations, is that invariant checking.
All right, and guys, there's so many articles online, and granted, I do read some articles, but I try to vet them before sharing them on videos. If you think that, I am, full of hopium and exaggerating things, that's fine. Do your own research, but just understand that, Maddie Greenspan, for example, let's see, almost 30,000 followers on Twitter and, who knows where else. These people are just putting out fake and false accusations. Now, I understand, sensationalism is one thing, but this is the exact opposite on technology that you don't understand and just kind of spreading, FUD and fake information that people are going to see and then regurgitate. So just get your facts straight. If you don't believe me, that's fine. Do your own research. Think for yourselves. I encourage that. You can disagree as well, but you cannot argue the facts here, okay? Invariant checking on the XRP ledger. Okay, next up. So Michael Val 5 links sharing this, guys. This is huge. We've talked about a little bit about this in my previous video if you've not realized the connections. So for the DTCC, nearly $2 quadrillion, yes, $2 quadrillion nearly in securities every year is processed by this group. Now, there's been talks, of course, with the private and public sector working with them, integrating, as we can see, distributed ledger tech into capital markets. We've talked about ION, guys, this proof of concept that they're working on for settlement. We've talked about Whitney, a security token method of private securities. Okay, so that's awesome. Now, what about XRP? What does this have to do with digitalization, tokenization? Is this bullish, bearish? What? Personally, I think this is absolutely amazing. To me, it's not surprising. We had this coming a long time ago. It's been a long time coming. Essentially, let's see. So talking about, distribution and exchange would happen on chain, compliance. They're going to have their own private blockchains, of course, no surprise. But this is what's really cool. And notice that one of the former CEOs and former COOs of the DTCC is on the Ripple board as an advisor for Ripple. Again, we have Craig Phillips, you have Ben Lawsky, you have some of the biggest names in finance, in government, directly related even with the Trump administration or the European Central Bank, the Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund. Like, we have massive connections and people, even huge characters such as this, on the board for Ripple. And you think that they're a scam, not going to solve anything, or you think that XRP is just a false promise or an illegal way for them to raise funding? No, this is a top-down approach. It will take time. If you do not have the stones to hold an asset and invest, and it could potentially be worth, orders of magnitude higher than it is now, if it's too stressful for you, don't invest. Investing, trading, this is not for everybody. If it were, everybody would be wealthy. It takes a certain psychological strength. Yes, there may be a little luck involved in the right timing, of course, but you know what? Timing the exact bottom, timing the exact top is anybody's guess. What matters is that you understand the asset, you're doing your research, you have your plans, you're de-risking, you're doing what's right for you. All right, I could talk about that forever, but anyways. Now, Whitney also, this other, platform, this kind of exchange that they're working on with securities, ran this concept for 12 weeks on the public Ethereum network. Interesting. So they're also testing on the public networks and at least interoperability between them. We can see here, given the DTC a roadmap now with this dry run, it will offer test APIs to partner firms and iterate the prototype for more blockchains, including HyperLedger Fabric and R3 Corda. And we understand why that's big. If you are, in the XRP community, you've been here for a few years. This is substantial. Okay, so right here, this giant thread I did a while back, I talked about it the other video. Again, former DTCC CEO Don Donohue is a Ripple advisor. Now, this is all the way back from 2015. You have to learn to connect the dots and understand this. They're talking about distributed payment tech. He's interested in that. CEO of Miranda Partners. He was and served as COO and CEO of the DTCC. Talking this about stabilizing systems throughout the crisis of 2008, or 2007, 2008. I just hope you guys can understand the depth and how deep this rabbit hole goes. This is another example in just the tip of the iceberg. Oh, Accenture working with the DTCC, and Accenture is also one of the first investors in Ripple, if not one of the bigger investors. Yet they also work with R3, which owns XRP. They, work with Swift, and they work with all these groups, Finestra, you name them. There's so many partnerships, and they're helping the digital transformation to embrace digital ledger technology. Okay, at this time, $1.6 quadrillion annually transacted. Guess what? Of course, this can stay in its own walled gardens, these walled gardens, these silos, but they still have to interoperate with other countries. that is where the transaction volume over the XRP ledger can potentially come in someday. Does it have to get all of it? No. Can you even fathom 1% of that volume? The price would be orders of magnitudes higher, okay? They're already interoperating and practicing with Ethereum, you name it. And then, of course, the one that should never be named, XRP. It's always Bitcoin, Ethereum, but pay attention. Okay, and of course, we know Ethereum. I love it. I hold it, but it has scalability issues. All right, next, XRP Crypto Wolf. Visa CEO Alfred Kelly gave public acknowledgement of JP Morgan's annual tech conference that digital currency backed by fiat is a real emerging payments technology and an additive to the payments ecosystem. And Kelly said, we want to be there and support digital currencies, and we are. All right. Next up, obviously we know the connections with the Visa. I don't need to rant on that forever. ShapeShift. XRP is now available on ShapeShift. As always, another ramp of liquidity, another group of demand. Every time an exchange lists, XRP or any asset for that matter, they are taking supply from the open market and holding it for their users. Bullish. And then if enough users buy it off their platform, they might, run out of their supply and they have to go back to the open market. Things of that nature. All right. Next, Free American Spirit sharing this. So we got Coil and WordPress. So today we unveiled that Coil, again, coil.com, all an XRP site. Remember, we showed Adrienne, Hope Bailey, and again, Coil, Interledger, etc. We know the connections even with HyperLedger, Quilt, Fabric, all of those groups worked on the Interledger protocol. Mojaloop with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for Africa. It just goes on forever, guys. It's unbelievable. And it's crazy that people just say, oh, XRP's at 20 cents. Scam coin, it's not going to be used. You'll see. Time will tell. All right, today we unveiled the Coil Web monetization plugin. Again, another integration. Awesome to see that with WordPress themselves. So great to see. And then another point of news with Coil is Wrath Economan just sharing this. So Coil here, we unveiled our web monetization WordPress plugin plus our newest wallet provider, Uphold Link, offering access to over 50 currencies with bank connectivity in more than 35 countries. Again, guys, I'm not paid to share this, but uphold.com, if you want to create an account there and you have not already, highly recommend it. Oh, I should probably follow you guys. Sorry about that. All right, now right here, an interesting side note to Coil's new WordPress plugin is that Data443, who runs a RippleNet UNL, again, unique nodes list validator, and whose data privacy solutions are XRP compatible, surprise, surprise, also offers, and we can see these types of compliance, GDPR and CCPA compliant WordPress plugins. All right, and he has the sources down below if you guys want to check that out. I do retweet everything I typically cover. All right, next up, Manny6Manny sharing this. Of course, we know this, but again, another group testifying to this. Studies show, and I could read this verbatim, but honestly, summarized it well. Studies show that by using paper money and coins, cash, you are at a greater risk of spreading the disease. We get it. We hear this narrative. We're essentially going to be going more and more cashless over time. That shouldn't be news to you at this point. Finance professors at Auburn University says types of cryptocurrency, such as Bitcoin and Ripple, back in the day, Ripple and XRP were used interchangeably, so sometimes I still use it interchangeably, could be a way to go in order to help cut down the spread. Okay? So again, naming it right here, no surprise. And then again saying, this professor reiterates that if Americans change over to using digital assets for purchases, which technically is already happening today, but it'll, obviously increase, it will not change the value of the American dollar. All right. So trying to, mitigate and kind of push this over. Next, Arturo Portilla sharing this. So Flare Networks, guys, we know they're a behemoth. We've talked 85% of the value of blockchain tokens is inaccessible to decentralized applications, these DApps, these dApps. That's a problem of accessing additional liquidity and interoperability between systems, both private and public blockchains, correct? Okay, well, that changes now, starting with XRP. Love that this group is pushing that, this type of initiative. Basically, they plan to eventually support a trustless two-way peg that allows developers to both fund and redeem XRP from Flare smart contracts natively. Now, this is a little speculation. This would be awesome if this happened next. If this two-way peg eventually supports the IOUs that run over the XRP ledger, things will get super duper interesting. And we understand that is another one of the benefits of the XRP ledger. Decentralized exchanges, issuing IOUs, XRP can still be the fastest bridge asset. Even if they don't use XRP on the ledger itself for the transactions, XRP is still required. And so owning, this network, making it function, it still becomes inherently more and more valuable. So in this case, the token XRP will always be valuable. And as more things run over the ledger, it increases with value per the value it is sending as that bridge asset. All right. Deflationary in nature, unlike the US dollar. Okay, and as we can see here with Flare Developers Reflection Flare, we can see this week on Developer Reflections, we're proud to highlight Flare, a next-gen blockchain network that allows developers to build, fund, and settle smart contracts using XRP. We know at its core, the XRP ledger was built as a settlement network for cheaper, faster payments, which is why XRP is so effective as a bridge currency. See, exactly, bridge currency. I'm not saying XRP is going to do everything. There's many altcoins that I am bullish upon. Like truly, okay, there's some that can be store of values. There's some for logistics and tracking. There's some where you can build and with proof of stake potentially have a more distributed system for certain financial institutions or other institutions that keep and prefer. I mean, to each their own. But for the payment issue and for bridging other assets, it's XRP. And you guys can try to change my mind, but I'm just going off the facts here. All right, simple mathematics. To support use cases such as global remittance, see Ripple's on-demand liquidity. Okay, so we'll wish Flare well along with their other project here. All right. Next, I know you may have seen this clip as well. I wanted to show it. It's just a 2-minute clip. Feel free to fast forward if you have already seen it. To me, it always gets me excited. Reminds me of some of those great videos that are out there. Again, Peter Pumpkin Eater sharing this. XRP and XRP Ledger's utility bull run will start in tandem with regulatory policy being clear and ubiquitous all around the world, guys. And I think it's this year. I think XRP will decouple from Bitcoin, and price due to investment demand will melt faces. So again, Steve Mnuchin, we know he's best buds. We understand his background at Goldman Sachs before taking the treasury position. Craig Phillips, of course, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock. Now he's a board member on Ripple. Ripple obviously met Trump administration. We've met CFTC, the SEC. The SEC has a node on the XRP ledger. Yeah, but it's a scam and no one's going to use it. And that's why every single bank in the world has at least done a trial or is already interoperable with XRP. And if the bank isn't directly, the technology providers of the banks are interoperable and utilize XRP or can with the click of a button. Things that make you go, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should look a little more into this. Maybe this crazy guy, Kevin, on YouTube is, maybe he's onto something. Maybe he's not 100% right, but if he's even just a little bit right, wow. Okay, check this out.
U.S. companies competitive. We need to create a level playing field for U.S. companies to be able to compete in the world, and they just haven't had that opportunity.
We've got European Engine, we've got
Mark Carney, again, of Bank of England, the governor of Bank of England, when he was, I believe he's recently retired. Bank of England, a RippleNet partner. They've also trialed not only XRP, but Interledger Protocol.
The Chinese engine, we've got the U.S. engine of this economy. Multipolar world, you need a multipolar currency. The question is, how do you get there? And I laid out some ideas of how you would get there.
And I forgot who said it. Someone on YouTube made a great point too, and I'm sorry for not giving you credit. It was one of the bigger channels. Basically, it was really interesting though that normally anyone that takes a shot at the U.S. dollar reserve currency gets kind of backhanded by Trump or Steve Mnuchin. But when Carney said it, nobody stepped up. Nobody said anything. It's because they're all best buds, in my opinion. The solution appears to be a digital currency used as a reserve currency. Now, there might not ever be an announcement. I'm just saying this can be the underlying technology to help all of this function and interoperate. And it has to be open sourced, which means it has to have a finite supply of tokens to utilize. And guess what? Since it's open sourced, that means that any of us have the chance. So if XRP is the one, it might be another one on CoinMarketCap, but I'm going off of the best technology and the connections. It will happen exactly as we're saying it. And this so-called conspiracy, stuff that we're sharing might not be so crazy after all.
So I think that
Christine Lagarde, again, former director of the International Monetary Fund. Now, of course, she's strategically placed like a chess piece to be the president of the European Central Bank. Huge advocate of distributed ledger technology. She's mentioned Ripple on occasion. Obviously, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, has had consulting roles, it seems to be, when they meet with the BIS, the IMF. Should be no surprise, guys. This goes deep. And yes, I'm repeating this because there's newcomers every single day.
The role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies, or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago, that is clearly shaking the system.
All right, Libra, permission database, Facebook's, currency if it ever launches, not a threat to what a reserve bridge currency will be, okay? Again, that's open sourced. Or, Libra is permissioned. It's just a fancy IOU sheet. It's not going to do what the XRP ledger can do. Lagarde stated that it's not Bitcoin. She says it needs to be regulated. Okay. And again, Ripple recently came out. They had all of the information. They basically said all of our customers are directly regulated to a T. Therefore, it makes Ripple regulated as well. Fully regulated. Waiting for the US to have some announcement as well. All right. Now, even XLM. It can have a portion of the cross-border market. I'm bullish on XLM, Stellar, the Lumens, yes. But, for institutional and retail, there's going to be multiple slices of the pie. If you guys look at the DTCC, for example, it's nearly $2 quadrillion. 1%, 10%, 50%. There's going to be many winners, okay? I'm just most bullish on XRP when that time comes. There could be other projects that, 100x, 1000x, who knows? But you know where I stand.
And when you think about all the people who send...
And understand BlackRock as well. There's tons of connections with them directly with Ripple, even Vanguard, these two behemoths. Like they're the behemoths of the behemoths. Their blockchain lead was, again, Robbie Mitchnick. Him and Susan Athey created the framework for XRP. They, that evaluation model. He left and now he's the blockchain lead for BlackRock. So we see people strategically leaving Ripple to go in high top places with banks, financial institutions, government roles. And then you're also seeing those people leaving to be in high positions of Ripple, just like, Swift, which is, Ripple's competition. That's what some say. I don't believe that. Swift's messaging, again, Marjan Delatine, she was selling the Swift GPI product. She left and is now working for Ripple because obviously the technology is just superior. Swift, they don't have the funding. You don't have the money. Ripple is one of the highest valued private companies in history of Silicon Valley. This is not just by accident. What company just comes to fruition and starts meeting with the Federal Reserve like within 2 months, 3 months of starting? Who? Besides this is all planned, in my opinion. None of this is financial advice. Question everything, and please just do your due diligence and check everything I say as well.
Send money, they may work in one country, send money back.
And again, he talks about this group. It's literally what Ripple and XRP and RippleNet, their whole software suite does, but he cannot say Ripple. So he'll talk about Libra or any other digital currency, just like anyone in governments.
They work in one country, send money back home. They generally do that through organizations that charge 5 to 10%. Yeah. There is a need, whether it's a Libra or something else, to democratize the exchange of...
Get it? So democratizing, level playing field, financial inclusion. Chris Larsen, executive chairman of Ripple, has been saying this forever, like years ago, and now all these people have the same talking points. Pay attention to that. Words mean things. You know who else has level playing field? A lot of people in the government. Pay attention to that. Now, it's not all just XRP. Of course, they're trying to create, and democratize things on, a multi-tiered level. But I'm just saying, in terms of finance, in cross-border international payments, it means something.
Foreign currencies. Today, with computers and electronic market,
there shouldn't be that.
It should be 10 basis points, 5 basis points.
That
it's not sense. Percent. And so I actually believe the idea around Libra, I don't think we need to create a new currency, but the technology to instantaneous calibrate all the currencies, that should be done.
Wow, so almost like an exchange rate peg. The technology to allow them to interoperate so you don't have to create a new global currency. You can still have the US dollar, you can still have the yen, the euro, and now we just need a technology to allow them to interoperate with lower costs and fees between them. That sounds just like XRP to me, or at least the XRP ledger.
I think we are about to see massive disruptions, but clearly the way in which...
Again, massive disruptions, shaking the system. Just pay attention to that, okay? Next, we know that we're talking about second rounds of payments coming in the United States here with the pandemic and stimulus relief packages. The IRS to issue, the beer flu, I don't want to say the keyword, stimulus payments on prepaid debit cards. Now, we understand that the groups that are involved, again, the IRS financial agent, MetaBank will send nearly 4 million payments on prepaid cards instead of doing the old paper check. We're kind of, step 2, a little bit faster, but not quite the solution. Okay, so pay attention to this. Now we go MetaBank. What kind of connections are there? Well, to no surprise, James Rule sharing this, MoneyGram and MetaBank, we can see cards are issued by MetaBank, and then again, member FDIC, licensed from Visa USA and MasterCard International Incorporated. MoneyGram's, obviously a huge part in this. Now, there's kind of a two-tiered approach, but we can kind of just breeze through this. Okay, so again, MoneyGram and MetaBank are connected, and then Bank XRP, I just wanted to share this. He found this in 2019, November 12th, when this came out. And basically, Kick Global partners with MetaBank and MoneyGram to provide gig economy payments to the underbanked. Huge populations. With digital currency and a cashless society, you need everybody, on the actual ledger. Okay, so as we kind of go through here briefly, we can see Kick Global will serve as the front end and customer acquisition vehicle, and MoneyGram will be the exclusive provider of cash pickup for payees. Yet notice how they complement each other, okay? Well, MetaBank will sponsor the program. Verticals for initial solicitation will include the specialty consumer lending market and multi-level marketing companies. Next-gen platform provides businesses a robust array of payment types. Okay, sounds interesting. Notice, MoneyGram, we know the strategic acquisition. And again, Ripple essentially owns, 10% give or take of MoneyGram again. Right, let me see. Yeah, see, Ripple owns just under 10% of MoneyGram's outstanding common stock. Okay, MoneyGram, they were kind of in issues when Ripple purchased them. Ripple could, buy some multiple behemoths outright. But again, there's a method to the madness, and notice that MoneyGram's partnering now with all of these remittance people. They're on remittance rampage partnerships all throughout the globe, the APAC region, all throughout the Middle East. Just pay attention to that. All right. Next, Anders Lundberg, guys, X_Anderson, great YouTube channel. I just wanted to read this quote. A lot of the more conservative community members regarding XRP price had a very different viewpoint 1 to 2 years ago. Guys, end of 2018, everyone was so bullish. Go back in time and you'll see the bear market, this, consolidation, this downtrend for 2, nearly 3 years made them lower their expectations and made them lash out against people just saying what they said earlier. Love that. All right, now, I Am Legion, again, adding some points to digital asset investors, great video on IBM, State Street, BNY Mellon, again, and just showing you, we've gone over all of this that I Am Legion's provided in the past, but just to kind of touch on this, again, IBM and HyperLedger, okay, and then Ripple, even all connected with SIA, so there's going to be multiple points, okay, Community 1, Community 2, Community 3, and then to no surprise, we also know that R3 is also involved. We can see here, HyperLedger Quilt, guys, a business blockchain tool hosted again by the Linux Foundation, offers interoperability between ledger systems by implementing ILP, Interledger Protocol. Come on, guys. Interledger Protocol was created by Ripple and HyperLedger. To no surprise, we already just talked about Adrienne Hope-Bailey. We see the connections, okay? It's just a done deal. Who will work on Quilt? Everest, NTT Data, and Ripple, full-time engineers. All right, and again, Adrienne Hope-Bailey of Ripple. And we've already shown you those documents of NTT Data in 2017. I don't know what other convincing you need with knowing what you know today if you kind of tie all of the research available. And then HyperLedger Fabric is the framework under the IBM blockchain platform. So I know that IBM is, totally in cahoots with the Stellar Foundation, but they're also connected widely to Ripple and Interledger Protocol. All right. And again, we have this man, this gentleman, I believe, of SIA. We've shown this whole clip before, but this is just 9 seconds. And it's him literally saying, partnered with the big players such as Ripple. Big players.
We are talking quite a lot with other big players, in particular HyperLedger Fabric and Ripple. And we are
okay, so talking a lot with the big players, HyperLedger Fabric and Ripple, and this is out of Italy. All right, and then even Quant Network, QNT, another asset that I'm potentially extremely bullish on. It is not a threat to XRP. They complement each other in various ways. Overledger, very, very interesting, guys. All right, so just another one. If you want to check it out and do your own research, go ahead. But to me, XRP, no question. All right, QNT connecting them in these blockchains. Pay attention to that. Okay, let me keep going here. All right, so Matthew, Liny, so Weiwa, and I'm just going to say Weiwa, RippleNet partner again for remittances across Africa. So we can see their partners. It's not only Ripple, but it's Mojaloop, which we talked again. Moja is Swahili for one, so one loop. This is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation with Ripple, helping with interoperability between all of these various networks, bank networks, mobile networks. It's a huge issue for underbanked populations. Okay, I believe we've even talked about BitPesa and Interpay. All right, and then look, Stellar also. So no surprise, they were going after the unbanked. Founder of Stellar and kind of founder of Ripple, Jed McCaleb, has said XRP and XLM are not in competition to each other or with each other. So I'm listening to the actual founders and CEOs, not just some dude sharing his opinion. Okay, and I know I give my opinion, but please, hopefully what is fact, and then also my opinion. So as you can see here, guys, Weiya, I guess. Solving cross-border payments across Africa. We can see these groups again, okay? Talking about the interoperability, intercontinental trade. I know the country Africa is massive. You just got to pay attention to the kind of the countries that they're building in specifically. And you have to pay attention to these partnerships. Again, if a payment is not made within 30 minutes now, the money is returned to the sender without a charge or fee. That's awesome, okay? They do not have a wallet. Instead, money is paid directly into a mobile money wallet or a bank account instantly or near real time. Getting rid of these fees, okay? Because these are the fees that are actually affecting the people, and the people hit with the fees are the ones that actually need to send this money. All right. And then I believe I already talked about this with XRP Crypto Wolf. ACI, again, with Wonder for cross-border payments. Guys, look into ACI Worldwide. I know we talked about the DTCC and some speculation, of course, 1.6 to, $2 quadrillion sent annually. But the ACI Worldwide is without a doubt a RippleNet partner, $14 trillion in payments. And, even Damor Sahami has had some very interesting evidence to show that ACI Worldwide may be white labeling some version of XRP technology as well. Now, that is not financial advice. That's just kind of things through the grapevine and things that I've seen in documents that have kind of compelled me to at least entertain the idea, but just things that make you go, All right. So again, just to kind of speed through, just realize what is at stake and who is really connected. Donohue. You have to look at the people that are, we're board members, we're not board members, and just watch these chess pieces move around. All right. All right, I am pooped. I need a drink of water. I am exhausted with this. Hopefully this was a little short and sweet and kind of gave you a taste of some additional information, guys. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Please do 2 to 3 years of research and you'll realize that there's points I could probably go off of and I would have a million tabs open to support my claim. So just understand there's a method to the madness of Ripple, and I am extremely bullish, but I think patience is going to be a virtue. It will be tested. All right? Patience takes a long time. Remember to check the links in the description, guys, for all things related to cryptocurrency. Shout out to my channel members, Jamie XRP, Mikey, Crypto Beginner, Philip, Miles, Ken Melendez, and all other top channel members. Appreciate all of you that hit the like button, shared this video around, and until next time.